the largest lake in Africa, the Naluvale, Lake Victoria, with its deep blue waters, it will leave you breathless. Where I come from harbors beauty in every sense. Have you seen the women and men in my land? No matter the color of their skin or hair, they will leave you breathless. My land, oh my land, my land, my land, oh my land. Where I come from, diversity reigns. Our culture defines us and our heritage follows us. And no matter our differences, we take pride in who we are. Oh my land, oh my land, my land, oh my land. Bo, the greatest heroes, define strength and tenacity. And even in the face of poverty, oppression, and disease, we rise. Oh yes, together we rise to victory. My land, oh my land, my land, oh my land is highly favored by God. His very own masterpiece, his own golden fleece. And who am I? I am the Muganda, the Muchiga, the Munyankole, the Jap, the Jola, the Jung. I am the Sukuma, the Oromo. I come from the east, the west, the north and south of Africa. See, I come from the Pearl of Africa, the Swahili nation, the Horn of Africa. I come from Africa. Call it one Wakanda. Yes, and for me, when I share that piece, I'm like, no matter our differences, at the end of the day, you know, you are a Muganda, you are Mpiankole, you're African. You are from Germany and you're here in Africa, you are African. So at the end of the day, we are one people, no matter our color, no matter our differences, no matter our background. Thank you very much.
I don't really know where to start from. That was truly amazing. I'm truly proud to be African. Another round of applause for Irene. I'd like to invite Ronald.
It's actually a setup. Evidently, it's a setup to really get me to really embarrass myself. And as an aspiring lead of poets, put myself in a very difficult situation. I have 3 pieces. I'm really timid to start with my first because of the high bar you've set for us. But this piece is called Borderless Lands. I did not craft a slide for it. I wanted it to be as raw as it can go. My other next 2 pieces, having a bit of music accompaniments, more like backgrounds, will also get those. I'll do The Goddess with No Borders. Second, I'll do a prayer for the living. Third, I'll just do one. I don't know, MC, you can guide if we are doing marathon or we are doing one. We are doing marathon. Okay. So the one thing that always reminds me to be somebody who looks out for peace, to be a peacemaker, is the fact that we are going to die. So I really look at the trouble I'm going to go through to cause trouble, and at the end of the day I'm going to die. It doesn't make sense. I'm only here for a couple of days, and my piece, my first piece, is really about a reminder that we are better off living at peace. We are better off living as brothers than, you know, going through the whole trouble of dying. I mean, of struggling and not making peace, and a few years down the road, you really die. So, I am basically here to remind you that. Because we are all living human beings. We will eventually live. We are all living human beings who will eventually live. We will all disappear like old stars. I can assure you, we will all disappear like old stars. We are cigarette ashes. We will burn and fade. We are like cigarette ashes. We will all burn and fade. And these borders that you see, these borders, they are not borders. They are just lines. These borders you call your countries are no borders. They are just lines. We are living for eventually to live. We are actually living humans. And these boxes are not boxes. These boxes should not divide us. These boxes are not prisons for the living. They are just mere lines. So, I remind you, we are all living to eventually live. So, let's embrace each other, live as humans who will eventually live, and being humans, we need each other. We need each other. You can't do this alone. We can't do this alone. We need each other's hand because we are living and we will eventually live. Thank you very much. That was just a reminder that really it's pointless, really pointless. So we are better off living at peace, enjoying each other's company, and being in the good peace of, so I am lucky to be coming from multiple backgrounds, and I think it's one of the unique things about the people here from the central. We are a catalogue of things. There's a Luo in me, there is a Nyarwanda in me, there is a Muchiga in me, so there is all this mix up. So we are lucky, but also that comes with the trauma of the different relatives that we have that have gone through all these challenges. So I'll do a piece for my mother. I've called it a goddess. You can just look out for that slide and we'll go slowly through it. And if I can have a music background, if it's near, or if it's not, I can just try and look it up and play it on my phone, whichever is easier for you. A goddess with no borders. And it's really, as soon as it comes, I'll start, and as I give you all this background and the struggle of people as they try and settle in and I think we need the slide, then the other can be in the background. The slide will just give you a bit of pictorial of what I cooked up to really just accompany this, because art is also a fusion of things. The poetry can be accompanied by photography, like maybe it does. It can be accompanied by other things, but mostly about really the struggle people who settle as refugees go through, and the trauma they've gone through as they settle, those who eventually settle, and the trauma they bear as they move from those different countries that have been having all these different conflicts. So it's really that I would want to share with you. I think you can do for me the slides. I can just look this up and just play this, just a bit of background. I can just play in my Yeah, no. A goddess. Okay. To the land that birthed my mother, your 100 hills still haunt her tired mind. Her soul still drinks from Gashabo. Thinking of Gaju, her grandfather's cow. So she sings and sings daily in the colorless bottle, not just in memory, but in reference to a land that births children and offers them to East Africa like sacrifices. But my mother is a goddess. My mother is a goddess. The gods have no borders. The gods have no borders. They swim with the winds. They flow with the tide. My mother is a goddess. So to the land that birthed my mother, your 100 hills still haunt her tired memory. My mother's land divorced her parents like war and conflict was a better spouse. So she sings and sings in her daily drinking. So she sings and sings in her daily drinking, wondering how a people of the same language, of the same land, fail to embrace each other, fail to live with each other, hug each other for looks and clusters that add nothing to their well-being, for looks and clusters that add nothing to their well-being. But my mother is a goddess. She swims with the winds and embraces the new and embraces the new land. My mother is no refugee. My mother is only a goddess. My mother is no refugee. My mother is only a goddess. But to the land that birthed my mother, your 100 hills still haunts her tired mind. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Those was more of a call to my Rwandan cousins and the people down south. That's, well, it was a good story, but the people who moved on, the people who are now Ugandans, still have those memories, especially those who are old enough to remember what really happened. So it's all about peace. We are talking about peace and making sure that we perpetuate peace, those who can still have the ability to perpetuate peace. So I have a last piece that is really about, it's more of a prayer for us who are living, basically, to remind us that, well, it's our obligation to embrace the diversity, to embrace the difference, to, love everything unique about the rest of the other people, because that is what makes us human. That is what gives us an edge. That is what makes us beautiful as the human race. So it's a prayer for the living, and it's really amazing to really you know, learn the fact that without each other, we can barely survive. We can barely survive without being in harmony with our neighbors, with the people we work with the different races, with the different tribes. So I'll try and do this, and wherever you can tap your head, you can, you know, it's about the joy of living together. And it's a prayer for the living to really remind us to live as humans. Yeah. Sure. I pray to thee. I pray to thee. I pray to thee. I pray to thee. Let's thank the gods of these lands, the parents who gave birth to us. Let's thank the gods of these lands and the parents who gave birth to us. Let's cherish the uniqueness in each other and love the difference in everyone's stare. Let's love the cumbia of the Latino, dance to the ding ding of the Luo. We go west to the sound of the Serengeti and fit flit to the Nankasa. It's the cinematography of these lands. So I pray to thee, I pray to thee. Let's embrace each other. Let's embrace the living. I pray to thee, I pray to thee. Let's enjoy the life that we have. Live in harmony with each other. It's the Hakuna Matata of these lands. Let's embrace humanity, get soaked in humility. I pray to thee. I pray to thee. There is no Trinity without diversity. There's actually no Trinity without diversity. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are all tribes and races away. So I pray to thee. I pray to thee. Let's embrace diversity in humanity. Thank you very much.
I'm speechless for these ones. I don't know. I think you deserve another round of applause. Thank you very much. The first poem really embraced the fact that there are no borders. It's all just lines, and we are the same person. And the second one shows the triumph over the distortion of peace and how people are embracing the peace we have now. And the third is mostly about embracing the diversity in us all and attributing it to being a one person. Really appreciate, thank you. Right about now, I would like to invite Mehdi. I'd like to invite Mehdi to discuss. Thank you.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Good to have you. Thank you so much for having me also. My name is Medi Progress Chizito. I'm so honored to be in the company of the general here. Mr. Aaron Kiza, I've heard great things about you, and it's a great honor to be under the same roof with you. This year needs no introduction. Yeah, he's my president of the Poets Association of Uganda. And the lady that just came opened up the stage, like he said, the people who organized the lineup should have made uploads to it. Before I ever knew anything about poetry, I saw Irene Esther perform at the Kampala Capital City Festival. Those of you who are old enough. Sounds like stone age. Yeah, but I saw her perform and I was like, that's right, that's exactly what I want to be. That's what I want to do. By then I was a graduate already, you can imagine.
You're very old.
Yeah, but it's so amazing how one person and their performance can light up your entire life. And as we talk now, that was 2015. 2021, I'm the proprietor of the Poetry Gallery, UG. And this is what we do. We get damaged wood, we get damaged stuff, and make beauty out of it. And that's all about humanity. That's it. We are all damaged in different ways, but if we embrace our damages and just learn to wear our scars with pride, then look at this beauty. Let's look at it. So that's what you lit up, and so much more that is said to be unveiled. I have 3 pieces to perform tonight, and the first piece is called Another Man's Story. It just talks about us, especially the Christian that thinks they are actually very, very different from the rest of that self-righteous person, and the need to actually just grow out of that and wake up from that battle. You see, it was never meant to be like that in the first place. The runes of desperation, loss, and confusion were never part of the original imagery. Her copy was beautiful, unique, and special. His was handsome, courageous, and bold, one of dominion and authority. But now her spirit lies cruised in a bruised heart and a broken soul. Soft flakes of dry tears form the foundation of her facial makeup. I say, soft flakes of dry tears form the foundation of her facial makeup. Pretentious facial makeup. And so you'll never notice that she's angry, tired, and wants out. And yet for some reason she just didn't seem to get her way out of these cold, evil, black walls of pain, sorrow, loss, rejection, and betrayal. How could she without help? Fear now grips her heart like a knot around a bolt. Insensitive to love, she hates everyone, including her very own creator. She's stuck in the quicksand of her very sorry story. She's breathing, and it's so lifeless. As for him, he has found only one way to run away from a dark, tormenting past, and I'm afraid to say that, yes, addiction. How lonely. How lonely sits the city that was once full of people. A princess among the noble has become a slave unto the worthless. How dim has become the gold. How changed is the fine gold. What went wrong? Would you like to know? Or rather, would you care to break out of the walls of your comfort zone and attempt to befriend an unfriendly zombie? Will you for once quiet your soul, steal your tongue, and for crying out loud, this time round without judgment, listen Listen to the fading pulse of that perishing heart. Season your words with grace, that when you finally speak, they'll come off like apples of gold in pictures of silver, refreshing, quenching, touching, thirsty souls. Will you be that last living straw to that drowning soul? Will you be a part of another man's story? Because you see, every saved man, let's say every saved man is a direct product of the unconditional love of another saved man. Oh yeah, that's what makes the righteous one, the holy one, the Son of Man, accept and choose to become a part of the stinking story of a sinful man. And now behold, here you stand, righteous, clean, and holy, a man, without the dark, embarrassing past of your polygamous clan. And so hear me out. Hear me out, oh you righteous man. Will you please extend that nice, cool, holy hand to the next filthy man in line? Release that cleansing splash and current adventure. Preserve that rotted bunch. Will you be a part of another man's story? In a world where a single man's personal, private issues can become a global story in just a simple tap and tweet, one man's predicament should never be another man's dream. Let's wake up from the Bible. Thank you. This next poem just reflects on history and points us to where we should go. I'll paraphrase what people say. A person that does not know where they are coming from may not really know where they are going. May we always remember. We will remember. We will remember the days when we slept in your tunnels, not because we were criminals, but because we were skinned black. Our people without credentials enough to sleep in your castles. We will remember. We will remember the days when our brothers and sisters were denied medical attention and access to public facilities, not because of their incapabilities, neither because of their improprieties, but because your authorities deemed it fit that they be treated like impurities, not human enough to mix with the list of your societies. We will remember the unnumbered numbers that died in cold snow, in the brothels, in the factories, and in your houses in such cold blood, a pain not even fit for the list of the beasts. We will not cease to remember. We will remember all those innocent souls that perished in the 9/11 Twin Tower bombings, in the Great Holocaust, in the Rwandan genocide, the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings, as well as the infamous Arabian suicide bombings. We will not cease to feel the pain of all those helpless and innocent children that daily go down the drain as their blood and sweat wash diamonds in the great African basin. I said we will not cease to feel the pain of all those helpless and innocent children whose blood and sweat wash diamonds in the great African basin. South Africa. We will remember you for the thick black flames and smoke that you raised up in the beautiful African blue skies as you offered up your brothers and sisters as a love offering to your gods of insecurity and ego. A people you are supposed to love, protect, and guard jealously, but it's so unfortunate that you know nothing about your history. Such a disgrace and a disappointment. The spirit of Ubuntu, the spirit of Baba Madiba, South Africa. Umuntu ngabantu. You are because we are. Now, of course, you'll ask the obvious question that everybody asks always. Took them there, you know. But this is how we will answer you. We will continue to open up our borders to our brothers from the DRC, South Sudan, Somalia, East, South, North, West, even as far as Afghanistan. We will continue to smile at our brothers the Chinese, Indian, Russian, German, and all those folks walking on a beautiful part of Africa with our hearts and faces beaming out warm and beautiful smiles as we declare out in pride, Nzungu, Nzungu, bye, Nzungu. Not because we are so hungry, but because we are so rich, wealthy, and human enough to understand that whether you say, Ni hao ma, uliocha, kumasava, mambo vipi, or how are you? The greeting still remains the same. And whether the virus is Ebola, HIV, or Corona, humanity's blood still remains red. We all suffer the same.
Maris, tu étudies où?
In my language, we say,
Tu as quel âge?
which contextually means no one wakes up on any one single day to invite problems to their door. I say, no one wakes up on any one single day to invite problems to their door. The sufferings and the damages of human atrocities do not segregate in race, color, or religious conformity, and may we always remember that. Thank you. This particular one is a mashup of my story and society's story. I believe that before we can actually achieve harmony and peace and embrace living together, one of the first thing that we have to actually diagnose is individual healing. Because a nation is born of individuals, and so if there is no one person, if we have a sick group of individuals, then we can as well have a sick nation. My name is Maggie. I've been there, I've had it, and I've seen it already. The bullying, hustling, and the struggle to be accepted. This is the very first poem I wrote after listening to Noisy. I've been there, I've had it, and I've seen it already, the bullying, the hustling, and the struggle to be accepted. I've been to times when my life had ended, and I've been to times when I wanted to end it. I've been to times when the streets were so cold, and I've been to times when even home was so hot. I've been to times when I've been disowned by the people who I thought were really my own. So believe me when I say I know the pain of having to choose between two equally important things to you. Disowned by my own. I felt betrayed, rejected, neglected, completely desired. I felt worthless. I felt worthless. Many times I've looked at the visions I've painted, the goals and dreams that my heart has intended, the purpose for which my life was created. And I fainted. But they were all distorted. Mama said when I came, she was great. Dad couldn't believe I was here already, so I became like a ball tossed between the man and the lady. And I grew up in a life that was never steady. I've walked the streets, I've plowed the fields, I've lacked the fees, and yes, I have failed those tests. I've prayed and fasted, but situations persisted, called on the Lord, hallelujah. But the devil insisted. But amidst all that, there was something so consuming. A force I couldn't fight that kept me going. You cannot touch it, but it will keep you holding. You cannot see, but it will keep you watching. It didn't give me a waterfall, but it kept me flowing. When I had reached the end of the rope, it kept me hanging. When I wanted to turn back, it halted the turn. When I wanted to let go, it growled, come on, we gotta go. When my own had let go, this force did not go. My fear was so much, but this force was too strong. My failure was so loud, but this force was too bold that it gave me a warm embrace when I felt too cold to even hold, and I was so lost, held, and engulfed in a force so great that it kept my life together when it felt asunder. He took me from a pool of quitters and raised me to a class of achievers. He raised me from a level of just believers and prompted me to a level of creators. He told me I was a trendsetter, a pace setter, even when I thought I was just a noise. Kelele, noise maker. And because of this force, indescribable from within, you can call it faith, you can call it hope, you can call it love, or you can just simply pause and call it poetry. Poetry, we all have it. We just don't seem to listen when it calls. Poetry gave me the balm to heal from my past pains and the grace. He gave me the balm to heal from my past pains and the faith to take the next breath with faith, knowing that it was never about the pace, but rather the willingness to take the very first step, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next, until I gathered enough strength to pick up my own pace. Poetry gave me the painting brush to paint my own face and the voice to sing my own song. I said, poetry gave me the painting brush to color my own face and the voice to sing my own song, knowing that before we can have the harmony, I gotta have the melody. Just told me that everything is pretty. Not everybody sees it. Not everybody really knows how much it costs to walk through fiery flames against all odds, just to embrace your own face and follow your own course. Not everybody knows what it means to be human. But after listening to poetry, I believe being human is extremely enormous, beautiful, and super special. To be human is to have the freedom to be yourself and not caring what other people think about you, but rather what you think about others. It's not caring how much the universe, it's not caring how much the universe, how much you weigh in the universe, but rather how much the universe weighs without you. It is to come home to the fact that you're just too important to rest. It is to realize and acknowledge that you are valuable, impeccable, immaculate, beautiful. You're worth dying for. Being human is just to have the freedom to be you and not fearing to believe in you. Because I mean, if you're not you, then sweetheart, how are you? That's what poetry did. It just gave me the courage, the boldness, and the pride to wear my scars as marks of victory rather than rough skins of shame. It just taught me to heal from my past pains and learn to live with myself without judgment or self-discrimination. And that if I healed and learned to live with me, then I could as well heal and learn to live with one more person. And then another, 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 until living together would never have to be a message to be preached, but rather a lifestyle identified with all humanity, making peace everybody's responsibility, each one reaching out to one world without end. Amen. Thank you.
Another round of applause. Surely we would love it if we all made peace our responsibility, where it's not a song for everyone to embrace one another. In this regard, I would like to invite Asha to present her piece. Thank you.
Asha is not here, but she'll be presenting UGCS.
Comment on t'appelle?
Maryse,
Maryse, tu étudies où?
au développement.
Tu as quel âge?
J'ai 4 ans.
Comment on t'appelle?
Maryse,
Maryse, tu étudies où?
au développement.
Tu as quel âge?
J'ai 4 ans.
Qu'est-ce que tu nous as préparé?
La récitation.
Laquelle?
La paix.
Tu peux réciter, tu es prête?
Oui.
Commencez.
La paix. Pourquoi la paix n'est pas au Congo? Toujours la guerre.
Comment t'appelles?
Maryse.
Maris, tu étudies où?
Au développement.
Tu as quel âge?
J'ai 4 ans.
Qu'est-ce que tu nous as préparé?
La récitation.
Laquelle?
La paix.
Tu peux réciter, tu es prête? Commencez.
La paix. Pourquoi la paix n'est pas au Congo? Toujours la guerre. Toujours la guerre. Les autorités congolaises. Pourquoi tous ces désastres au Congo? Nous voulons la paix n'est pas au Congo. Toujours la guerre. Toujours la guerre. Les autorités congolaises. Pourquoi tous ces désastres au Congo? Nous voulons la paix. Nous haïssons la guerre. Nous sommes fatigués de vivre dans la guerre. Nous devons bâtir le Congo de demain. Nous sommes dans la
As a
guerre.
minister of a country,
Nous grandissons
no
dans
life, no
la
life,
guerre.
poverty, higher. Rafael, led by the soldiers, the real shot by some neighbor.
Don't
you see now that we have a problem? Actually, it's the theory saying dictatorship. Absence of accurate power sharing, presenting nepotism, misused tribalism, never-ending racialism. Is it you, me, or this thing we call the system?
Dictator's theory.
Must be many failures, say no man is a failure, just the neglector. Ask the legal text of her abuser, she will tell you it starts with the leader before it goes to the sufferer. Why set the laws that masquerade your flaws? Calling it democracy because it's the easier policy. Have you seen the state of her country, or all you see is her sexy body? A place you find comfort mining, all her virginity turned to misery, killing her people for her pearls, denying them their rights to steal what's theirs, using carbon dioxide, sulfur, hydrogen and oxygen to finish the women, the children and the men, and then peace. Peace becomes a tale she misses, a lover many do not get to kiss. Yet, peace. She is a right, just as she is right, to make us feel safe in the night, keep fear out of sight, hate the wrong to contrite. Let PEACE be a dream we get to see, a place we get to be, a life we get to live. Let PEACE be the anthem in Syria, delicious spice in India, the emblem raised in Afghanistan, prayer mountain in Pakistan, a salsa dance in Mexico, and oasis in Central African Republic. Let PEACE be a sunrise in Soweto, free bluebird in Rio, sunset in Kampala, oxygen in Niger, the air we breathe in Chad, and sunflower in Donbass. Let PEACE be an eruption of love in Kivu, honey in Tigray, fine fabric in Turkey, some yummy sushi in China, holy temple in Israel, and greener pastures in Sudan. In all countries, in all cities, and all continents, let PEACE be, let peace be peacefully.
Then the last presentation of today, I would like to invite Patricia, please.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
My name is Patricia Pisinja. I am part of the Little Together movement. the Makerere University chapter. I'm a writer and I'm a law student. Actually, I'm from a paper.
Well done.
First of all, the main facts were presented before me. They were really wonderful pieces, and I'm pretty sure we all picked good content from it. My piece is entitled Listen, and it's like a puzzle piece I kept picking up ever since the lockdown forced us back to our homes and the different parts of the country that it sent us to. I kept on observing and looking at people and looking at humanity. And I realized we have a toxic circle of relating with each other, and it's really the small things that eventually grow up into the big wars, into the hatred and the racism and the tribalism and nepotism and everything else. Thank you. Footprints of dead skulls have turned to ashes, and smoke storms have turned to dust. So what's left to do when we are stuck between an incredible past and a beautiful future that might never happen if we do not leave our marks? So out of these flames, let us raise our arms and allow our motherland to breathe again. Now, I am speaking in riddles, but what I want to say is listen. There are words that go unheard until it is written in a suicidal goodbye note, until the silence of a grave being filled up engulfs all those who paid no attention. There are alarms carelessly brushed off until a life is short-lived, until the emptiness of a young generation dying descends upon a nation. There are screams carelessly ignored until families are broken, until little children are forced to grow up way too soon. And so, in every little boy sitting next to them, they see a potential rapist. In every little girl sitting next to them, they see a reflection of their insecurity. And when they think about their future, they think about absentee mothers. There are voices silenced until people take to the streets, unafraid of dying, because you see, they have faced worse monsters than stray bullets. They have faced worse monsters than tear gas canisters and live bullets. All I'm trying to say is that there is so much content, there is so much truth in the silence, in the plastic and broken smiles, behind the social media lies, if only we can listen. And now, walking in the footprints of dead skulls, watching falling skies through burning tears, what's left to do? We are going to march the march of lovers. We are going to stop and end the war of fears. We are going to hold up the flag of peace, and hungry children will start lighting up dull nights. We are going to leave our marks. We are going to be kind. And again, I'm speaking in riddles, but what I'm trying to say is, in a world where you are given very many options, choose to be kind. See, these are the little things, but they have more value than gold. These are tested ways. These are ways of the old. So listen, because there is so much content and truth in the silence, in the broken and plastic smiles, behind the social media lies. If only you would listen. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that amazing piece.
The MC is right.
Yeah, a little poetry on my side. Thank you so much. Once more, I'd like to thank all of you for coming. You really made this event blissful. You've really made this colorful, and we are indebted to you. We are open for discussions. I think I'm going to set a bit of an example. I don't have a piece of my own. I just have something I'd like to say. it will get out to those who will listen. As she said, just have to take a moment and just hear what people are saying, and slowly by slowly we can effect change through the art we portray. Mine is, it's so difficult to eradicate the distortion of peace when it is plastered onto us from our childhood. We come to see that from the date you are born, you're given a stamp, you are allocated a specific category of person that you're supposed to be. You come to see that even on all our birth certificates, you see the baptism cards, you go to the hospital forms, you go to the registration forms, there's always that box where they are asking tribe, they are asking religion, they are asking nationality, they are asking this or that. That is the way they are trying to categorize us, instead of looking at the bigger picture that we are all one person. Why would you need to call me by my tribe when you can call me, let's say, Ugandan, when you can call me an African, when you can just call me a human being? It doesn't make sense for me to tell you that I have to identify myself as an Acholi or an Alu or a person from another country, or German or French or Italian. It just makes no sense for you to tell me to categorize myself. You're painting a certain picture of me that I am not. It is not so hard for you to look at me as a human being, or as a Ugandan, as an African, or just as human as we all are. It then stems from the whole system. If we are to create a kind of peaceful environment, we would have to fight the categories we are being put in, the categories we are being pushed at in schools. We are seeing create a kind of peaceful environment. We have to fight these categories we are being put in. Why? The categories we are being one person. We are all, we are seeing create a kind of peaceful environment. We have to fight these categories we are being put in. Why? On the whole, we are being one person. We are all, we are seeing create a kind of peaceful environment. We are all fight these categories we are asking. Why? They don't just on the whole, we are doing one person, we are all, they don't even create we are all these we are asking. Why? On the whole, we are one person, we are all, they don't even create we are all these we are asking. Why? On the whole, we are one person, we are all, they don't even create all these
and I think I'll start I think we've addressed ourselves, and I think I'll start I think we've addressed ourselves, and I think I'll start this has been very, very prominent, leave alone the organized criminality, but the domestic violence around the homes. And I think this all stems from the fact that as Africans, or perhaps even as Ugandans, our level of tolerance is not that much. As in, if I have a different view of you, your level of tolerating that view that I have is really, really very low. Yet, every person's view is their view. If I think that perhaps this government is not the best government, it's my opinion. It shouldn't, instigate anger. If I have a different view with, say, my spouse on, say, how we should raise children, it's not something that should, instigate anger to a point of violence. So I think it's one of the areas that we've not really interrogated that much. And my call is that if in as part of our dialogue here, we can perhaps talk about that area as well. And it's not necessarily that we are talking about violence, domestic violence for people who are married and they are forced to be together because they are married and they are locked up in a house because they are in COVID lockdown, but it also stretches even to the relationships we have with either at work or even within girlfriend-boyfriend kind of relationship. So there are those small conflicts that keep growing and culminate into real violence. I think it's one of the key areas that as a society, as a community, we need to address ourselves and to find ways of having more tolerance, having ways of being able to have the maturity to let go, the maturity to let somebody have a differing opinion of how somebody should pray, or how somebody should dress, how many pins they should have on their body, how many tattoos they should carry. But all these small things, they are still in society, and there's that maturity that I don't know how we should grow to, but I think it's one of the key things that as a society we should talk about and reach that level of growth. Yeah, that's my submission.
Thank you very much. As he has said, we have to first go back home and look at ourselves. How is our household? How are we treating one another? How is your dad, your mom, your cousin, your uncle, your sister treating the other before we come to embrace the wholesome of peace? We have to look at each and every one of us and how we can push from home, and then we can spread that peace to other people. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's someone else with another submission. Thank you.
So once again, my name is Enoch. I've really respected the poets of today. If you're not a peace ambassador after this, then you deserve a handshake. Again, I want to say, I also just want to encourage something. So all of us, we realize the state of our country as well. Yeah, we call ourselves third world, right? We are a bit comfortable by now with it, but that's probably because we have adopted a form of scarcity thinking. Yeah? So when you are growing up, you have dreams of one day I'll be maybe the best doctor, maybe the best, businessman, I'll be the president. You have big dreams, yeah? But then at a certain point in time when life starts becoming heavy on you, yeah? Everyone just thinks of surviving, yeah? Getting their own way out, yeah? And the dreams we had, they soon become dreams, as the name means. Yeah? So let's just encouraging us, yeah, to keep working hard, yeah. Let's have the mindset of building our community as well, because I think that should be our indicator for growth, yeah. Not one person, yeah. Maybe a few people. Usually those who are accused of corruption, they don't know, driving the Range Rovers, yeah. Then there are so many kids, carrying sacks on the streets, yeah. So I think if everyone can just raise their children like that, that would change the whole community, and that's how we should join the perhaps first world community. That should be our measure of a society. Everyone grows. Yeah. So let's all be strong. Our selfishness perhaps should also aim at raising others up eventually. So again, perhaps I'll stop there, and a poet can say the rest.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, more remarks? Yes, thank you.
Thank you again. Many progress. I appreciate everyone that has been able to make it today. Again, I'll stress this time around, not in a poem, but you know, when poetry is like a spirit, there's a way it gets you, and you pin certain things a little bit hard at home. But sometimes you want to communicate in a language that everyone else will understand. I want to stress the idea of individualism, targeting individuals, going to the root of everything, because it's individuals that make families, and families you build societies. From societies you have communities and nations, cities and continents. So the long or short, but the most appropriate route would be targeting individuals and especially the young. You know, we just saw a little girl there performing, and she was saying, we are born in war, we grow up in war, and we don't want to die in war. Now those are very fertile candidates for the seed of peace. Those are the people that, but not just one, not everyone is indebted to society to extend their perception of peace, their understanding of peace, to especially the younger generation, so that the things that are portrayed currently in society, the fruits of the sick hearts, do not get down to them. That's a very long shot, like I said, but it's possible. Because what we see as war and fighting and discrimination those are just fruits, they are leaves that have their nourishment from the root, which is sick community, sick hearts, sick individual hearts. People, you know, so if we can target people, young people, families, and I always tell people that the sufferings of nations is not entirely dependent on the presidents and the leaders of such nations as much as it is on the families from where they come from. Because those seeds of corruption, the seeds of bribery and all that come are sowed in them even before they learn to speak the word mama, even before they learn to speak, okay? Because the very people that are raising them are doing the very same thing. So it is hard and impossible for them to live differently unless we deliberately, we as the people that have realized, deliberately come out and live as an example to this young generation. Because you have very little to change about an 80-year-old president. You really have not so much to change. But you have so much to change on a 2-year-old toddler. So, individual approach to peace would be the most perfect approach, but would be the longest route. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Once again, oh, okay. Peace wants to say something.
Once again, I will still go back to the point of the little things. There is something that is going on and everyone seems to be okay with it. We have started to normalize the idea of being violent and being savage on social media. And the greatest platform for such is Twitter. When bad things happen, when things that are not supposed to be normal happen, we go ahead and make memes out of it, we make jokes out of it, and it is not okay. And this is the reason why people are committing suicide. This is the reason why we are raising a very bitter generation. If I wake up and review my friend's status, sometimes I am forced to ask myself, did these people eat? How did they sleep? Because people wake up and the first thing they're going to do is to insult someone or post a meme that is insulting another. They are very okay with being violent. And then that phase develops into another phase of glorifying depression and mental illness. So once upon a time, it was a taboo for people to be depressed. It was a taboo for people to have mental illness and whatnot. So whenever someone felt like that, they would seek for medical attention and they were addressed. But right now we have people who are faking depression because it is glorified on social media. People are very okay with the idea of portraying themselves as people who are depressed, even when they are not depressed, and that is not okay. That is not a normal generation. If people are like that, you imagine the kind of children they are going to raise if they are parents. If people are like that, you imagine the kind of relationship they have with their parents. You imagine the kind of relationship they have with their workmates and their classmates. I mean, of course, that is termed to be difficult, but if you see the way we relate with each other, we are very okay with the violence. We make it a taboo for someone to have a retake. We make it a taboo for someone to go in a paper and find the paper difficult. So at the end of the day, we have people who are dropping off. We joined law school when we were 300 and something, and trust me, by the time we graduate, we're going to be 90 something or less, because we just do not care about how people think. And then the thing we keep on ignoring is that at the end of the day, we are still humans. And being a human means that we are vulnerable to words. We are sensitive to people's actions. If someone makes fun of me, I'm going to laugh at it because that is what I'm supposed to do as per the preset standards of society. But when I go back to my bed at night, I'm going to cry. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to hate myself. I'm going to hate society. I'm going to hate everything. I have very many people who are saying, we don't want to get married. We don't want children. We don't want to do this. People have even gone ahead to glorify the idea of suicide. And that is not okay. So I'm thinking it's high time we started checking these things. It's high time we started normalizing a normal way of interacting with each other. We need to do away with the thing of violence on Twitter. These things affect us, but we want to act like it's fine, and yet it's really not fine. We need to address that, otherwise the next generation that is going to be raised is going to be terrible, really terrible.
Raised by social media.
Raised by social media with a very weird way of thinking. But we need to go back to the former way of thinking where we look at things and take them seriously, where we normalize greeting our neighbors. People don't greet each other. You can post something sad on your status and people are going to take screenshots and make fun of it. And that should not be okay. We're supposed to behave like human beings, the way we were initially created to be, the way we're supposed to be. We're supposed to care for each other. We're supposed to have that vulnerability, and we're supposed to embrace it. And we are supposed to have that compassionate nature. But we are suppressing it in the name of being savage on Twitter, in the name of social media, and I think that is not okay. So I think we should put a check on that. Thank you.
Hi everyone.
Hi, how are you?
Okay. I'd just like to say something. All the poems were mind-blowing. But Asha's poem, it hurt me a lot. I felt her pain. especially seeing the video of that child, and then seeing how she was talking about the different countries she has lived in. Asha is a refugee, and she knows what it's like to have to move away from your home and then have to be accepted by a new community every time. Yeah, so, but she is someone who, just seeing her poem, she has grown a lot from that experience, and she's able to really point out to us what we don't often see, the struggles of refugees, the loneliness, the pain. And this is what Living Together movement is trying to do. We're trying to tell people stop, how do I put it? I know when you see a stranger in your midst, it's not easy to connect with them immediately. The first thing we do is maybe close off or keep to people we know. But let's just make an effort to try and be more open towards others, especially people we are not used to, and just get to know them. And when we do get to know them, we find we have a lot in common with them. We feel the same way, we laugh at the same things. So, and that connection is enough to heal a lot of things. So I hope we just move forward with that in mind.
Once more, I would like to thank all of you for coming. It has really been nice. We have had very beautiful poems from you guys, and as she said, many of them have been touching. Most of them have been on point, and we really thank you and appreciate the composure and the time you took in the presenting and composing all of these poems. And we really hope they have made an impact in relation to peace building and personalizing peace, such that we are an embodiment of peace ourselves. I would like to have maybe one reaction or maybe something to say from our hosts. You can share a little, one or two things as we close up. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
I really enjoyed the session. The poets were really lively, and I think you were filling the room with emotions and with intensity, and we haven't had a poetry event for long, like physically, and I really missed it because I remember it's different. Of course, also people who are watching online, they can be part of the session, but being here and listening to you, it's very, very nice, and it's very touching. And you were sharing, I mean, the topic was peace, and you were touching on it in different fields and a different intensity. And I'm very happy that Helga has this cooperation with us, that we work with Restore Dialogue Uganda, and that you made it possible to bring all of these 6th grade poets together to our place. And I hope that this cooperation will continue. And yeah, thank you again. And from GZK Kampala, we are always open for hosting this kind of events, and as artists, as initiatives like Restore Dialogue Uganda, you're always open to come to us, and we can work something out together. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for hosting us. We are coming to a close of our event. We're still waiting for some audio from someone, but audio is taking long to come, I'm not sure, because time is going, and some people came from very far. Yeah, we'd like to finish up, but I'd like to thank Helga, of course. Thank you so much for this event. We have had a lot of interactions, and really appreciate. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank all the poets. Thank you for sharing your pieces. They have been very nice, and yeah, we thank you very much. And to all of you for coming. It has really been amazing. It has really been nice. Thank you so much. We are, I think, closing.
Yes.
Yeah, we are closing the event. For those who have been online, thank you so much for reaching out. Thank you for being part of this event. And to everyone out there, hope you have got the message. We are building peace, and it's you and I to make peace part of ourselves, to make peace and make the country or the world we want it to be, where each one of us is the other and we are all one. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening.
I'd just like all members of Living Together movement to stay back for a short moment.